Hey up everyone, welcome to the Martyn Lucas Investor Extra Channel. I'm Vaz, thank you for joining the Archer earnings call, fourth quarter 2024. I'm glad everyone joined. We are getting a good audience now. By the way, do you know what time it is? It's time to start talking eVTOLs. Apologies. You can see the audio is going through well. Let's start with chat quickly. See, Vaz is here. That's good. Joshua, it's time we go to the moon. Takeoff time. Vaz, yeah, Vaz is live now. James, my biggest supporter. Thank you, James. James was actually supporting me before it was cool, before I was the cool kid on the channel. So thank you, James. Glad to see you here. Got Jenny. Thank you for joining. Vanessa, big investor in Archer. Yeah, loving the purple. Thank you, Vanessa. We've got Martin. I suppose I'm expected to wave. Oh yeah, I see myself on the screen. Jenny, go Archer. Well, what can we expect tonight? I think we can expect quite good, steady and solid earnings report and guidance. We are, I think Joby showed us last night gave us a bit of a taste where the eVTOL market is going, or the head of the race of eVTOL market. If you look at Joby and Archer, they are on top of the race, and then there's a big gap behind them, and then everyone is trying to sort of catch up. So Joby's earning yesterday was very steady and firm growth. There was no surprise, but there was no bad news in my eyes. They are planning to start manufacturing they are set up to slowly start manufacturing their vehicles. They are focusing on the certification. That is their main priority, which is probably not as attractive for short-term investors. For long-term investors, I see Joby being on a very good track to achieve their goals. With Archer today, we got some good news dropped in the morning. There was not much of a reaction, but let's have a look at that, shall we? By the way, those who are just joining, welcome to the Archer fourth quarter 2024 earnings call. I'm Vaz. This is the extra channel, Martyn Lucas Investor Extra Channel. If you want to join, if you like Soundhound on the main channel, we are doing Soundhound earnings. Let's have actually look right away. I can show you the screen. That's Martin. I think we have slightly, yeah, I think he's got slightly bigger audience than we do. How many viewers do we have? 37 watching. Good. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way in. It's very important because I want to beat Martin tonight in likes, not in the audience, but in likes. So I think we can do it together. If everyone coming in and out hits the like button. Look how many likes Martin has. 10. How many do we have? 10. It's a very close race. It's a bit like Joby and Archer, isn't it? Yeah. Martin's got currently 1820 watching. I don't think we can compete, but let's try. This is my first live show, so it might be a bit rusty or not as slick, but we will get there. I've sort of calmed down. The initial pressure came off, so I feel a bit more relaxed. Let me know if there are any issues with audio, or if the quality of the stream is good or bad. If you like the background, we already saw Vanessa likes the background, which is good. Let's crack on with the good news. So this morning, Archer dropped a little taster of what the earnings call is going to be about, and we actually I'm now lost. Sorry. I'm in the newsletter. I'm in the investors letter. So let's have a look at the key points. Archer in the morning announced they are ready with their production model, or with a version is going to be sold for the clients. Currently, we are aiming the Mid East. We are going to be operational in Abu Dhabi, and we are looking to start delivering at the end of the year, if everything goes all right. If not, there will be slight setback, but we are on a very positive note. So first key point, unveiled launch edition. Hopefully you can all see it if it's not too small. Unveiled launch edition commercialization program with Abu Dhabi Aviation and as its first customer, establishing a playbook to deploy Midnight commercially to dozens of early adopter markets in advance of type of certification of the aircraft by the FAA. So this is what I was talking about in one of the previous videos. The, say, Mid-East, namely, will be probably more tolerant and less demanding in terms of rules and safety measures and regulations than FAA, Europe, and other markets. So I think it's a great starting point. Once you start manufacturing your vehicles and you are delivering your vehicles, you are getting not profitable, but you are generating your revenue. Once you get your revenue, that means you are on the track, you are making money, and you can start looking into being profitable. Archer are also eyeing strong demand in the defense market and beyond for its planned hybrid aircraft, and it is developing under an exclusive partnership with Anduril Industries. Again, this will be very important thing to look at in the earnings call. I don't think it will be so massive short term. It will definitely be very big thing long term. I think probably towards next year we might see some contract negotiations or maybe some firmer partnership being set. I don't think it will be affecting next quarter or so. This is a massive news. This is, in my eyes, this is the biggest news, and I've been looking out for this for Archer, and this is assuring me, and I'm very, very, very positive and bullish on Archer now. Starting production of the first Midnight aircraft at its ARC facility in Covington, Georgia, with plans to build up to 10 Midnight aircraft this year to support ongoing certification testing programs and deployments with key partners. That means we are getting operational soon. We are starting manufacturing vehicles very soon, and there are no setbacks, no delays. We are on the track to start making money. And then another positive news for the company operations. Archer are maintaining one of the strongest balance sheets in our industry, with over 1 billion in liquidity, all while spending remained relatively flat for the second straight quarter. So that means our expenses are not massively growing. They are still within our guidance. They are still on the track, and we have very good cash position. Not cash, but we have a lot of money on the balance sheet. So just a quick estimate, this can take us through probably 5, 6 and more quarters if we keep our current expenses. So that's very, very positive. I will go quickly to chat. Just got told off by Martin for the chewing gum, so I do apologize. Let me just set up the the webcast in meantime because it got just released. Let's quickly go through comments with you. How many people are watching actually? We have a good audience. Can't see it in this window, just bear with me. I hate it when I have so many windows open. Got 26 watching, that's good, that's a good start. How many's got Martyn? Martyn's got, I'll show you. Martyn's got 2004 watching, okay, that's good. But yet he's still got only 10 likes. That can't be right. Yeah, 355 likes. Yeah, he's doing slightly better. And we have only 10 likes. That doesn't sound right. Oh yeah, 29 likes. Thank you. Thank you. So let me quickly set up the webcast for you. We have about for those who just joined, we are covering Archer fourth quarter 2024 earnings call. We have about 45. Yeah, we have about 35-40 minutes before we start. So we will do a little build up, or we started doing a little build up to the earnings call. I will be telling you some more interesting information. Let me just quickly set this up. I should have really got it ready, but this is the first time I'm doing it, so thank you for your patience. Register for this event, and I think we are ready. Stream. Receive reminder 15 minutes before the start time. Yeah, so you will receive a reminder on the day of the event and can access the webcast up to 15 minutes before the start time. Okay, that's good. So we've got about 20 minutes to talk about the news. Let's get back to the chat. I haven't finished it. Jenny, go Archer, 1UP Mint, apparently liking the show. James, big supporter, thank you. What tea are we drinking today, James? I've got some green Vietnamese tea. My girlfriend brought me from her trip to Vietnam. It's very nice. It's very nice. I don't know what that is because I can't read Vietnamese, but it's very nice. Rob, hey, good luck. Thank you, Rob. Craig, haven't seen Craig for ages. Hey up. Sundays are better. Supporting me. I hope it's cheering. Thank you. Dirk Douglas, Patrick Black, thank you both. Hi. James, Lucas Aids, Vanessa. Click the like button. Yeah, thank you, Vanessa. James, good evening, Craig. Rick M, thank you. Rob, we really need a green day tomorrow leading into the weekend. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about Archer stock price soon. Dirk Douglas, James, greeting everyone. Thank you. Jocelyn, thank you for joining, Jocelyn. Nice to see you. I think we got more. The ratio of women to men is probably higher on this stream than on Martyn's, because we have that that few people watching that it makes up to high percentage. Smash the like button for Vaz. Thank you, Craig. Dirk Douglas, looking good, Vaz. Thank you. I always do. Just joking. James, Rob, a lot of highs back and forth. Martyn, his links. Jocelyn, hi Vanessa, always lovely to see you on the show. Yeah, definitely. Vas, please check what's up. Yeah, thank you, Martyn. It's all sorted. Sorry about that. Great news for Archer. Yeah, indeed, Jenny. Great news. Archer Aviation reported quarterly losses of. All right. I missed this one. Quarterly losses of 1.24 per share, which missed the analysis consensus estimate of 1.24. I mean, we are not generating any money. We are not generating any revenue. Is this relative at this point? yeah, it's definitely good indicator, but that's also the first time in past 4 quarters Archer missed their estimates. That's interesting. Whereas today I'm drinking Rington's Gold Tea with milk and 1 sweetener to cut down on sugar. Well done, James. Right. So if you have any questions, if you want to engage with me, I'm more than happy. It'll probably help me to fill up the time. So, or you will probably put me on a better track. I've got a few things I would like to go through with you, but if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to assist. In terms of price, stock price, let's have a look at Joby yesterday. It had quite interesting development because these two are very close competitors. So I think it's fair to compare these two together. Vanessa saying Archer going down. That doesn't surprise me. We'll get back to this shortly. I've got something very interesting to say. Joby, they announced their results and the stock price shot up about 10-ish%. And then it started slowly cooling off. We sort of set a new average overnight, not much development. And then it was the crash in the morning, and now the whole market is going down. So that's going on the back of that. For Archer, where are we now? I think I'll just go and email. Let me quickly check this. I think I'll just go and email for the earnings call for the webcast. No, just bear with me a second. You have pre-registered, and I've got the webcast link for you. Oh, need to enter email address. Just bear with me, please. I'm not as good as Martyn. I can't do 12 things at the same time on my 20 screens. I've got only a limited number of screens. Right, let's play this. Can you hear any other audio than my voice? Just let me know in the comments if you can hear the audio or not. You're not supposed to, so if you don't, it's good news. That means everything is working all right. We are all set up. Once we start, we have about half an hour. They usually start a bit later. For those who just joined in, who just tuned in, we are covering Archer Aviation 4th quarter 2024 earnings. This is the Martyn Lucas Investor Extra channel. On the main channel, we are looking at Soundhound. We are watching Soundhound earnings. That will be interesting as well. Hit the like button on your way in, please. So we have this set up. Let's just have a look how we stand with audience and likes. We have 19 watching. That's good. That's good. 20 watching. Oh, it's picking up now. And 29 likes. Very good. Very good. We got more likes than watching. We are picking up that sensei show pattern now. How is Martyn getting on? Martyn is doing slightly worse than he was about 10 minutes ago. Now he's still got about 1900 watching, 529 likes. Yeah. So he's got exactly 500 likes more. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's get this back up on the screen. And let's get back to the stock price. So Archer today. Where are we? Archer today, when the market opened, we are... Sorry, market open, not pre-market. I've just lost myself. Yeah, when the market opened, Archer crashed because everything crashed. The whole market crashed. In the morning, when we got released the news or announced the news about the delivery model or the the model ready for sale, the stock didn't react to it at all. It was only slight pull up, only a couple of percent, and nothing else happened. There was a slight build up in the morning after, but then the whole market just went down. And now Archer is actually crashing fairly. That's good for me as an investor. This is good news, because you can now see, you could now see Archer has got very strong financial position. Archer is becoming profitable this year fairly soon. We are 2, maybe 3 quarters away of becoming profitable, and we are developing and enhancing existing partnerships. So I think it's good news. What I also see is that the eVTOL market will cool down. In next 2 or 3 months, the eVTOL market will start cooling down, because now it's been mainly riding the massive wave of hype, namely and mainly caused by Archer, because their very good PR work and their good progress and results caused that the whole eVTOL market started booming. Namely Archer, which if you look back in September, was trading about between $3 and $4, and then before Christmas we were reaching 12. We were touching $12. So there was a massive upside, massive upside. The market, I expect this hype to cool down, because yes, we are going to be generating revenue, we are going to get certification progress or certification finalization, but it's not going to happen in next quarter or so. It might be, we are probably looking at the second half of the year. The investors' patience will run out. People would rather have their money somewhere else, trading something else, or being in more aggressively growing stocks. For you as an investor, or for me namely, don't follow my advice. It's just my own insights, my own strategy, my own method. I can expect a pullback of 20-30% easily. So if we say today we were on $8, about $8.50. So if you look at pullback 20-30%, I think Archer is fair price around $7.50, 7-ish. That's where I will be buying, about $7.50, and Joby probably around $6.50. I will start buying around $6.50. And then there will be probably a bit of quiet period, and then the closer we get to the certification, we will be announcing some milestones, and then once either Joby or Archer, once they reach the full certification, the whole market will explode. That is just my opinion. Don't use this as a financial advice, but I will be playing my investments to this. When that happens, I can easily see the company who will achieve the certification first, they will go at least 2x, maybe 3x, and the whole market will go on the back of it. So whether you are invested in Archer, Joby, or any other any other manufacturers, it should affect every single element of the market. Let's have a look at the chat again. Yeah, Martin, please check WhatsApp. That's sorted. Jenny, great news for Archer. Vanessa, yeah, they missed by 14.52%. First miss in 4 quarters after 4 successful quarters. But again, long term, it's not relevant. This indicator is not relevant to me at the moment, because I see they have very strong financial position. James Vaz, today I'm drinking Rington's Gold Tea. Yeah, I've been through this. Nice one, James, mate. I love spoonful of honey in my tea. Archer going down right now. Yeah, I think it's the whole market reacting. If we look at Joby, Joby is not going as badly. I mean, if the market is reacting to it now after hours, and the market won't wake up from today's downfall, we can see that price developing even lower tomorrow, and that would be great entry opportunity for me, because I'm getting paid tomorrow as well. So I might buy some shares with some shares on sale. Craig says, I got another box. Malasa Chai, James, we have been. Can somebody else actually engage about anything else than tea? We are in Archer earnings call, and we are talking about tea. I love it. I love it. Anyway, anyone who just joined in, we are covering the fourth quarter 2024 Archer Aviation earnings call. We are about 20-25 minutes away. Let me just check the audio. Everything is okay. Yeah, I think the webcast is ready to go. Let's do this. I would like you to put in the chat, if you are in Archer, what is your average? I don't want to know your position. I don't want to know how much money you invested, but tell me what is your average, because yeah, I'm quite interested in this. That will tell me how patient you have been with Archer. My average, I'll go first. My average is 8.83. I bought a lot end of September when there was the crash. I bought up. I think my average was about 330, 340, something like that. Sorry, I'm getting some technical hiccups. Yeah, I bought about 340, say. And then once it started going up, I've been trimming. And then, thank you, James. And then as it went up, I've been trimming and buying back in on the dip. And the main part I was saying was before Christmas, when I sold the biggest part of my position when we were $10-11. Very good times. I'm very happy with this Archer trading, because my current portfolio makes about 20% of my current portfolio is made up by just that Archer trade net profit. So whatever money I made on Archer makes about one fifth of my portfolio. So yeah, I'm not trading Archer now. I will buy in anytime the price goes lower. I will be buying in from certain level, and then I'll be waiting for the certification announcement. Once the certification announcement comes out, it will explode, it will boom. I think it'll be good time to trim my position, and then wait for another cool off, buy in again, gain extra, I don't know, 10, 15, 20% of shares, and then just hold forever. Archer, I want to hold Archer at least until 2030, because I think that will be the breaking point, 2030. Yeah, so that is my strategy, how I will tackle this. Craig says, James says, I'm not in Archer, but I'm interested in eVTOL and like the technology. I think James is here to support me. James is here to hold my hand. Thank you very much, James. Craig, same here, not in, but an interesting industry that could be big in the future. So keep an eye on it. Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm here. What is James saying? Ooh, not that one. What is James saying? I think eVTOL is a technology we are going to see a lot in the future, especially electric powered eVTOL. Yeah, I agree. Electric and probably hybrid. That'll be further down the line, like late 2030s. I can imagine. Vanessa, what is your average? Don't tell me how many shares you got. Tell me your average, please. Yeah, we can see some hybrid or just pure hydrogen, but not this side of 2030s. Let's check Martyn's. Vanessa is taking her time. Vanessa is. Let me ask Vanessa. Vanessa, what is your average? I'm very interested because Vanessa has been holding Archer since for years. I don't remember when she said, but she's been holding it for years, so that's good. Let's have a look at how Martyn is doing. Let's refresh. Can he see us? He can't see us. He's busy. He's busy talking crypto. We've got 1800 watching, 662. So by the previous logic, we had 500 less. That means we should have about 162 likes. Is that correct? Yeah, about that. Oh, that's good. We've got 3 more viewers. Thank you. And we've got much more likes. Very good. Very good. And we've got some inputs in the chat as well. Sorry. Jenny, I am in at 4:15. Very good, very good. Jenny, have you started taking profits? You asked me about a week ago or a couple of weeks ago. Is it a good time to take profits? Well, I think you have found out. Have you taken any profits? And Vanessa, 10:05. 10:05. I bought it when it had a different name. All right, fair enough. Yeah. Jenny, that's a good price. I bought it back in 2021. Yeah. I mean, we're not that far off. Vanessa, you will be waiting probably a couple of quarters, and then you will start getting in green. It won't be that long. Jenny, no wanted to see earnings. Sorry about that. Yeah, it is a bit harsh, but I mean, if you can hold it for this price for a bit longer, I think you will be making good money. Can everyone actually see the ticker down here? Can you all read it well? Is it good idea? Is it bad idea? Or I've just tried something quickly set up last night. Got a question. Red Dallas. Do we see 10 to 12 in the near future? Yeah. I think it can come back in probably next week. I think we can get back to $9 to $10 region, and then it will be just whether we get some positive news, because Archer has been riding mainly on the back of their PR compared to Joby, whose PR is not as sharp as Archer's. But yeah, I think, again, don't take this as a financial advice. It's just my own opinion. It might be. I'll tell you what, Red Dallas, if you tune in on Sunday, Sensei, because Sensei Crypto Show on Sunday, he not only does crypto, but he's a wizard when it comes to reading charts. He will read your chart, Archer chart, and he will tell you exactly what will be your next buying zone, what will be your next selling zone, what is the safe level, what could be your exit value. Yeah, tune in on Sunday if you can. Sensei will do better job than I, probably. Vanessa says I should have sold it when it got my money back. Yeah, I feel your pain, Vanessa. That's why I was streaming it before Christmas. I was seeing just profits. I couldn't be waiting for months and just waiting for the price to coming back up. Let me just check the audio. Yeah, we are still playing music. Red Dallas says thank you Thank you for engagement. I appreciate it. It feels better. It feels better when I see somebody is engaging with me and you are asking me questions or you are talking to me. It's much better than me talking to the wall in front of me. One more thing I would like to ask you. Jerry and Elba, one of our most loved members. Jerry is not doing fairly well. He's been going through a surgery. Let me just pop this in the chat for you. Let me pop this in the chat for you. Jerry is in hospital. He's not doing very well. I think if we support him, Martyn does on his music channel. He does great music show every Friday night or Friday 4 o'clock Central. It's Friday 10 o'clock British time. Amazing music party. Martyn is I think I'm not showing the screen, sorry. I think Martyn's channel deserves much more attention, the music channel, and the music party deserves a much bigger audience. I mean, last few weeks we've been having 100 people watching at the time, which is great. I would like to ask you, if you are free on Friday and you want to enjoy some good music, please do join the event. Let's all support Jerry, who's not doing very well, and Elba as well, who's, bless her, she's very worried about Jerry. So that's it. Those who haven't seen it, Martyn has got his music channel. The handle is at Martyn Lucas. Again, if you subscribe to this channel, Martyn is doing a lot of fundraising events. He's doing live gigs. He's doing special events. He's doing birthday parties. You name it. Amazing show. Amazing musician. If you can join, you will help us with the future fundraisers and charity events. Again, let's all support Jerry and Elba as well on Friday. Thank you very much. Those who have just joined in, we are covering Archer fourth quarter 2024 earnings call. We are about 10-12 minutes away. Yeah, still playing music. Give it about 5 minutes. I'll put the headphones on. Hopefully you will excuse me. I'm not as well set up as Martyn is, so I can't do it to the quality extent. Let's have a look at chat. Any more comments? Yeah, God bless Jerry and Elba. Get well, Jerry. God bless Jerry and Elba. If you wanna click on that link and at least drop a like. Those who are not members, who just joined in for the earnings, please click on that, join and send a like to the video, to the event. I would like to do something with you, mainly for me, but to prove myself to you, or mainly to me. These are, if you've been watching my previous videos, that little build up which has been coming out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and today we have the main event. These are the comments or the minutes or notes I've had in my videos. So this is the first video when we talked about Archer getting approval for training their own pilots, and then there were my expectations for the earnings. Second video was about the recent dilution and the expected Q4 financial situation or spendings, and the outlook for the first quarter. EPS, I couldn't find, what did Vanessa say with EPS? Yeah, I couldn't find any indicative number. I found like 5-6 different numbers, and the 0.29 negative was the most common. So let's scrub this. let's ignore this. And this is the latest video where we went through positives and negatives that aired yesterday. I would like, through the earnings call, play a VAS bingo. So I will be, anytime they mention something, what I expected or what I was hoping for to mention, I will, I will highlight it in green. And let's see how many greens we're gonna get. I'm very interested. What have we got? We got somebody joining in the chat. Just got here. Are we just waiting for the 2 p.m. webcast? Yes, we are. Thank you for joining. This is Martyn Lucas Investor Channel Extra. We are covering Archer earnings. The webcast is about 8-10 minutes away. Yeah, still playing music. So bear with us. We have been doing a little build-up show. This is my first time live. So if you see some hiccups or if I'm a bit rusty, please be tolerant. Archer is now starting production of its first Midnight aircraft at its ARC facility in Georgia. Yeah, definitely. We've been through it in the beginning. That's very positive news for me. That was going to be my main question. Not their Anduril partnership, not their financial situation, but how is the ARC facility going? And apparently it's going well. Archer is planning to build up to 10 Midnight aircraft this year to support ongoing certification testing programs and deployments with its key partners. Yeah, that's great news. I 100% agree. I couldn't agree more. Maybe short term, it's not as massive news for the short term holders and traders, but for me as a long term investor, I couldn't ask for more, really. Let's check on Martyn how he is doing, and wave. 1600 watching, 711, 712 likes. How are we getting on? Oh yeah, 24 watching, 37 likes. Oh yeah, I love it. Thank you. Those who just joined in, please do hit the like button on your way in and on your way out if you don't like the stream. It's very important. It's very important that watchers, the audience versus like ratio on the extra channel, because we usually beat it. We usually get more likes than views at a time. Let me just get a bit of drink. I'll be with you in a minute. Right, we are about 5 minutes away. I will put my headset on. Hopefully you won't mind. I'll be listening patiently. Again, if you have any questions, if you want to go through something, or if you want to know my opinions, or if you want to check something, feel free to drop your comments in the chat. We have 26 watching. That's great audience. DJ Hayes, loving the like to view ratio. Yeah, I love it as well. I'm following Sensei in this trend, which is good. Let's check on the webcast. I don't think there will be any presentation. So what I will do, I can open the shareholders letter for you, and we can go through it. Archer price has been slowly rebounding, but again, if the market situation is not going to improve, then this can follow with a sell-off. It's Friday. The current mood is not the best. You will hear from Martyn tomorrow morning. Yeah, we can easily touch $7 again, and that will be great entry position for me. Let's go through the letter. Is it this one? Just bear with me. I've lost my investor letter. Quarter results. Shareholders letter. There we go. Yeah, I'll be following this through the webcast. Right, let's just check the audience for the last time. We've got 20 watching, 39 likes. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Those who just joined in, we are covering Archer fourth quarter 2024 earnings call. It will be starting any minute. They usually are late, so don't expect to start on the hour, but we'll be there soon. There's one more thing I would like to bring up. Is the VAS eVTOL Manufacturer Index. We've been through this quite a few times with Archer. Could show you the screen as well, couldn't I? Been through this with Archer. What is the VAS eVTOL Manufacturer Index? Well, this is something I've developed because we don't have a clear indication. eVTOL market is a brand new emerging market. We don't have any comparison like, say, aircraft manufacturing industry, where you have Boeing, Airbus, maybe Lockheed Martin for defense. They are the god tier, and then we sort of go down, we tear down all the way to, say, startups and local manufacturers. On the eVTOL market, we don't have this indicator. We don't have the gauge. We don't know what's the top. So I've developed this index, which has got four different indicators. One is research and development progress. So Archer is 8 out of 10. It goes from 1 to 10. When 1 is the lowest, 10 is the god tier. So we are fairly progressed. We are in pre-production engineering. I think we are going one step further because we are now ready for the mass scale production. So I will review this. We might review this after the earnings call. Their production capacity and capability is currently 6, low rate production, which we are at. We are probably able to manufacture 1 or 2 vehicles a month, but closer to the end of the year, that will definitely be reviewed and scaled up. In terms of certification, number 7 out of 10, advanced certification testings, which are ongoing. We see Joby is slightly progressed, but it's only, I don't want to say it's marginal, but if you compare it to the other manufacturers, it is marginal. And market engagement, pre-orders and early sales. This will be changing. This will be stepping up soon, fairly soon. Compared to Joby, who sort of slept on this a bit. Let me just... I think we are getting... stream through.
Good afternoon. Thank you for attending the Archer Aviation fourth quarter 2024 financial results conference call. My name is Cameron, and I will be your moderator for today. All lines will be muted during the presentation portion of the call with an opportunity for questions and answers at the end. If you would like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad, and I would now like to pass the conference over to your host, Eric Lentell. You may proceed.
Thank you for joining Archer's earnings call. This is Eric Lentell, Archer's General Counsel. Today, we will be making forward-looking statements. These forward-looking statements are based on assumptions as of today, and we undertake no obligation to update these statements as a result of new information or future events. There are risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results to differ materially from those contemplated. For more information about these risks and uncertainties, please refer to the risk factors in our SEC filings. We will also be discussing both GAAP and non-GAAP financial measures. A reconciliation of those GAAP to non-GAAP financial measures is included in our shareholder letter and earnings release from today. And now I'll turn it over to Adam. Adam?
I founded Archer to fundamentally reshape the future of aviation and help transform how we move through the air. When you look 100 years into the future, it's clear that aviation will be ubiquitous, highly autonomous, and electric. This isn't wishful thinking, it's a necessity. Our cities are growing, our ground infrastructure can't keep up, and our legacy aviation software systems are antiquated and unscalable. By ubiquitous, I mean air travel that is accessible to the masses as the safest and fastest way to get from A to B. To truly democratize it, we need to scale aviation to 100x the people at 10,000x the locations at 1/10 the cost we see today. It's estimated that 80% of the world's population has never flown. I believe this is the only way we can absorb the inevitable growth of our cities and populations without overwhelming our ground-based transportation networks. To achieve this scale and remain safe, aviation must become highly autonomous. Our current systems rely far too much on antiquated technology and places too high a burden on human operators already reaching its limits. Software-driven systems utilizing AI will be able to scale with ubiquitous operations, delivering the highest levels of safety to our airspace at a fraction of the operating cost, allowing human operators to focus on oversight and strategic decisions. And this future of ubiquitous aviation can't come at the expense of our planet. Luckily, the cost curves of battery technology are following similar exponential improvements to what we saw in computing, so we will be able to increasingly use electric powertrains to power an ever-increasing range of aircraft. The aviation industry has been stuck making incremental improvements for 50 years, constrained by the fundamental limits of legacy technology and the dominant force of an unchallenged duopoly in commercial aviation. But thanks to breakthroughs in technology over the last decades, including batteries, electric engines, and the rapid acceleration of AI, coupled with unprecedented levels of investment in our industry, we're now poised for an inflection. And I believe Archer has the opportunity and responsibility to lead the way. We're on track to begin deploying revenue-generating Midnight aircraft later this year. And over the next 2 decades, Archer has the opportunity to drive the technological transformation across global aviation. It's time to build. Our business today spans 3 integrated vectors. 1, designing and manufacturing our civilian aircraft, Midnight, which is an electric air taxi we're working to deploy in the world's most congested cities, starting with paying customers this year. 2, defense. In partnership with Anduril, our first product under development is a next-generation hybrid propulsion vertical lift aircraft that I believe is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity this decade with both the military and civilian use cases. And 3, software, building advanced but simplified flight control systems that are highly automated, as well as leveraging AI to optimize our airspace. Today, I'll focus on our execution plan for deploying Midnight commercially and developing our next-generation hybrid aircraft. As part of this, I'll dive into our exciting new partner we're bringing into the fold. Taking a step back, our commercial strategy remains the same as it has from day one, to find the most efficient path to safely bring Midnight to market. Last fall, the FAA put in place a structured framework for Archer and the rest of the industry, the final key piece of the puzzle needed to create a clear path for the safe, phased rollout of eVTOLs in the U.S. While we continue to work through the final stages of our type certification program here in the U.S., we have the opportunity to work with several forward-thinking regulators across the globe that are creating pathways for us to deploy Midnight commercially in advance of FAA type certification. After engaging dozens of these countries at the highest levels of governments over the last year, I'm excited today to share more details about our Launch Edition program, which will allow us to deploy Midnight aircraft in early adopter markets worldwide to generate revenue. These early adopters are more than just customers. They are true partners who we will work with to stand up the early air taxi operations hand in hand. These partnerships will have 2 components. First, we will supply them with a small fleet of Launch Edition aircraft to showcase and operate in their countries over the next 18 to 24 months, as well as a services component where we will provide an operational support team of pilots, technicians, engineers, and local leadership. These arrangements will be tailored based on the partner and their strategic goals, but we are aiming for each one to generate tens of millions of revenue and be margin positive. Our goal is to create a repeatable playbook we can scale to dozens, if not hundreds, of partners globally. And with that framework in place, I'm proud to announce today we have signed up Abu Dhabi Aviation, known as ADA, as our first Launch Edition partner. Our plan is to deploy aircraft with them in Abu Dhabi later this year, allowing us to generate revenue under the agreement. As part of this, Archer and ADA will continue to work with other in-country partners we have previously announced. This includes Etihad, which will help scale pilot training regionally, and Falcon, who we plan to partner with on infrastructure across the country. All of this continues to be unlocked thanks to our strong alignment with the GCAA, which regulates aviation federally in the UAE, who we are working closely with to ensure we have an expedited pathway to early operations in the country. Our progress in the UAE has catalyzed further interest across the broader Middle East, Asia, and Africa, with many countries in talks with us to bring early commercial operations ahead of our type certification in the U.S., creating multiple opportunities for us later this year and into next. Here in the U.S., we continue working with our partners, United Airlines and Southwest, to plan our initial operations in our key launch cities, LA, San Francisco, Miami, and New York. This includes route planning, building our plans to recruit and train pilots, and planning for the integration of Archer's aerial ride-sharing software into our airline partners' software stack. To enable all of this, we must scale manufacturing. We have completed our factory in Georgia, ARC, and plan to manufacture up to 10 Midnight aircraft this year for use as part of our FAA certification program, as well as early commercial deployment internationally. Tom will share more about our progress, but I want to take a moment to thank our team who has worked tirelessly to get us to that point. The first eVTOL OEM to be scaling commercial production of its piloted aircraft here in the U.S. We know there are endless challenges ahead, but I truly believe we have the best team in the world capable of tackling them. Finally, I want to talk about our exciting announcement from last December, Archer Defense. I'm seeing outsized demand for the hybrid aircraft we are developing with Anduril. Over the last few earnings calls, I've telegraphed how meaningful I expect the defense business will be for Archer. We partnered with Anduril because they are two builders and have proved that new innovative companies can successfully sell to the Department of Defense. As part of our mission to build the future of aviation, modernizing America's military fleet, as well as those of our allies, is core, and I am proud we have the opportunity to make an impact here. We're working closely with Anduril to develop what we think the future vertical lift requirements for the defense use cases is. I believe the aircraft we plan to build can result in multi-billion-dollar programs of record, all without the need for FAA certification. Similar to SpaceX, we're now seeing synergies between our civil and defense vectors that have the potential to unlock a powerful flywheel. As I've met with the global leaders in the Trump administration over the last few months, it's clear that our technology, talent, and experience from the civil side builds credibility in diversified revenue streams, while our role in America's defense industry helps to further elevate eVTOL as a national priority. This becomes increasingly important when I engage leaders in Washington and abroad on how the technology we are building at Archer can both help build the cities of the future here in the U.S., modernize aviation, and ensure our military has access to the world's leading technologies. On the back of all of this tremendous progress and opportunity, last month we announced that we raised an additional $300 million from investors thanks to strong inbound demand. This gives Archer over $1 billion in liquidity, our strongest liquidity position to date. Yet for us, our view is that it's still early innings. We have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to advance the technology that defines our skies and ultimately shape the future of aviation for generations to come. Let's keep building. Over to Tom.
Our goal from an engineering perspective has always been to leverage advancements in electric propulsion and software to build advanced aircraft for a variety of use cases. Our foundational aircraft platform, Midnight, was built with this strategy in mind and includes technology that can scale and adapt across multiple aircraft configurations for multiple mission profiles. Throughout aviation history, the most significant advancements have not come from incremental improvements, but from a fundamental reevaluation of what's possible. The core technology in Midnight, our electric propulsion system and flight control software, can be adapted for urban air mobility, cargo delivery, medevac, and defense applications, as well as missions we have yet to conceive of. As you can see from the pictures in our shareholder letter, we've now moved our piloted Midnight aircraft to our Salinas facility for final ground testing before its upcoming piloted flight. This aircraft can only fly piloted, and thus requires that our flight control system, the same one we are certifying with the FAA, must be at the maturity level necessary to support that from a safety of flight perspective. This requires a tremendous amount of testing and analysis ahead of flight. Our team has been working relentlessly to get us to this point. A few examples of the many tests we've completed include completing a comprehensive series of tests covering propeller endurance, ground vibration testing, and various fault injection tests across all of the systems on the aircraft. EEE qualification tests for our Safran flight computer at their R&D facilities in France, as well as completed safety of flight declarations for our actuators from Honeywell and flight deck from Garmin, and stress testing of the Midnight airframe with individual load cases of over 18,000 pounds. These are just a few key highlights. This aircraft will be the 8th full-scale eVTOL that myself and our chief engineer, Dr. Jeff Bauer, have successfully built and flown in our careers. What we've learned over all those other programs is that there are no shortcuts when it comes to safety of flight. While it's taken longer than we may have projected, this thoroughness ensures the safety of our pilots and has deepened our confidence in the maturity of our aircraft design and systems. Looking ahead to our piloted flight test campaign, you can expect us to continue to take a methodical, phased approach that focuses on safety first. When we designed Midnight, it was important to our team that the aircraft was capable of both conventional takeoff and landing, as well as vertical takeoff and landing. We believe this will be critical for operational flexibility when the aircraft is deployed in a commercial environment. This design decision did not come for free, as we had to design our landing gear and airframe to support the additional loads that come with conventional landings, which are far greater than the loads resulting from only VTOL. But this increased capability provides not only additional operational flexibility, but also increased levels of safety, as it gives more options of where you can land in an emergency situation. We plan to test this capability first before we take the aircraft through the full transition envelope. If you look closely at the pictures of the new piloted Midnight aircraft that we released today, you can see some of the refinements we made in our landing gear from our prior aircraft to help enable all of this. This tremendous progress on safety of flight activities positions us for continued momentum on Midnight's type certification program with the FAA. We expect to share important updates on this front in the quarters ahead. In parallel with FAA type certification, we continue making substantial progress on the operational approvals needed from the FAA to operate our air taxi service once Midnight is type certified. Recently, we announced the FAA certification of our Part 141 Flight Training Academy, allowing us to train and certify Midnight pilots, securing another critical element of our commercial launch strategy. Internationally, we've accelerated our efforts in the UAE significantly as we work to achieve our launch goals. We've now been working with the UAE's federal regulator, the General Civil Aviation Authority, for nearly 2 years, and I want to thank them for the continued partnership. I'm excited to announce that we've now finalized our project-specific certification plan with the GCAA. This document outlines the steps needed to bring Midnight to market in the country, which we are well down the path of executing against. We have already begun submitting compliance data to the UAE for review and acceptance, and expect to work in earnest on that throughout the first half of this year. Here's what you can expect to see over the remainder of this year with regard to our planned progress in the UAE. This summer, we'll deliver our first piloted Midnight to Abu Dhabi and begin flight testing in country. With that aircraft, we'll focus our efforts on testing it in high temperature operations, as conditions there can exceed 110 degrees during the day. Fortunately, Midnight is designed to support this operating environment, including a Honeywell climate control system that is designed to maintain comfortable cabin temperatures. Subsequent to that, we plan to start flights in and around cities in the UAE, performing proving runs to and from some of the locations on our intended network, and performing market survey flights with limited passenger operations, working towards our ultimate commercial launch. Critical to supporting all of these aircraft testing and deployment efforts is ramping our production. This year, we plan to build up to 10 Midnight aircraft, 3 heavily instrumented for flight testing, and the remainder as launch edition aircraft for early commercial deployment. Our Georgia factory is now operational, and the first aircraft produced out of this factory is on target to be completed by early summer, Finally, regarding Archer Defense, when we announced our exclusive partnership with Anduril a few months ago, we indicated that our first product is planned to be a hybrid powertrain VTOL aircraft with a low thermal and acoustic signature. This program will build directly on Midnight's core technology, leveraging the best of what we've already developed while continuing to push the boundaries of what's possible. While we can't share more details yet, we will when we can. The progress the team is making is extraordinary, and to think that by this time next year, I'll get the opportunity to fly Midnight as a passenger is exhilarating. With that, I'll turn it over to Priya.
Thanks, Tom. Q4 '24 was a pivotal quarter for Archer. We made significant progress on the engineering milestones, manufacturing ramp, commercialization readiness, and defense industry diversification. In parallel, we made significant strides in reaching our financial goals to create an industry-leading balance sheet, all while managing our spend to invest appropriately in the growth of our business. We exited 2024 with $835 million of cash and cash equivalents, our highest ever quarter-end cash balance, and we currently have a liquidity position of over $1 billion, giving us one of the strongest balance sheets in our industry. This was all enabled by the equity raises we did in Q4 and Q1 as we've continued to see strong investor demand. It is important to note that our current liquidity of $1 billion does not include any of the up to $400 million of additional capital Stellantis has agreed in principle to commit to help scale the manufacturing of our Midnight aircraft. Our teams are working hard to finalize that agreement that we expect to complete this quarter. With regards to our spending for the quarter and the year, as you would expect, we continued to invest in the development, certification and testing of our Midnight aircraft, and in the ramp-up of our manufacturing and testing capabilities as we build additional Midnight aircraft. For Q4 '24, our results were in line with our guidance for both GAAP and non-GAAP expenses, and our spending was relatively flat quarter over quarter. Non-GAAP operating expenses were $98.3 million for Q4, which is within our guided range of $95 to $110 million. And our total operating expenses on a GAAP basis were $124.2 million, which were also within the $120 to $140 million range previously provided. For context, our GAAP operating expenses included approximately $25.9 million of non-cash expenses, primarily driven by the $23.9 million of stock-based compensation. For the full year 2024, our non-GAAP operating expenses were $380.6 million, a 22% increase year over year, and our GAAP operating expenses for the full year were $509.7 million, a 14% increase year over year, primarily due to the investments we have made in people-related spend, materials, and non-recurring engineering costs to support our current phase of aircraft development and testing, as well as our manufacturing scale-up. Our cash used in operations and investing activities for 2024 was $450.6 million. This included approximately $50 million of spend for the build-out of our ARC facility, all of which was offset through the drawdown on our construction loan. Excluding this build-out spend for ARC, our net cash used in operations and investing activities was approximately $100 million per quarter on average in 2024. We increased our ending cash balance at the end of 2024 by $369.9 million over 2023 by raising a total of $820.4 million through financing activities in 2024. This primarily includes the proceeds from the August and December equity raises, our ATM programs, the drawdown on our construction loan, and the third and final tranche under our forward equity purchase arrangement with Stellantis. This has helped to significantly de-risk our path to commercialization. So, as we look ahead this year towards our goals of manufacturing ramp, commercialization of our Launch Edition program, and the development of the hybrid aircraft for the defense industry, we feel very confident that we have access to sufficient capital to deliver. As we prepare for revenue-generating operations later in the year in 2025, we are pivoting our guidance to using an adjusted EBITDA metric instead of what we have guided to historically, which was non-GAAP operating expenses. We believe this new metric is a better proxy for operating cash spend and currently tracks very closely to non-GAAP operating expenses. For Q1 of 2025, we anticipate adjusted EBITDA to be a loss of $95 million to $110 million as we continue to invest in our engineering, manufacturing, and commercial activities discussed earlier by Adam and Tom. In summary, we are currently very well capitalized and continue to be very thoughtful about investing in the growth of the business to ensure we can achieve our goals. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Adam for Q&A. Adam?
Thanks, Priya. We tried something new this quarter. So through the Say platform, we collected questions from retail investors. Those questions were then voted on through the platform, and we'll now answer some of the top questions. So the first question was, what are the key remaining steps for FAA certification, and can investors expect any major regulatory or partnership announcements that can accelerate commercialization? So yes, we announced a major partnership today with Abu Dhabi Aviation that accelerates commercialization, and you can expect more Launch Edition customers that are going to come. But I want to focus you on, there's two different tracks here to think about. The first is this Launch Edition track, and the second is the FAA type certified aircraft track. So on the Launch Edition track, we are deploying these aircraft that are not contingent on receiving FAA type certification. So why are countries doing this? They're doing this because they believe in the industry. They think it's going to be very large, and they want to start operations as soon as possible. So in the UAE, we're working with the GCAA to certify those aircraft locally. And from Archer's perspective, this allows us to deploy, monetize these aircraft, and we can build them pre-FAA type certification. So everybody wins. We all learn eVTOL operations together. We can do it safely. This is a crawl, walk, run approach. The second track is the FAA type certified track. And so why does this matter? Well, the FAA is the largest regulator in the world. It's the largest market in the world here in the US, so it's obviously very important. But they've not been able to close out all the industry-wide issues that are needed to allow us to cross the finish line. And so our teams continue to work on that track, but I'm confident that the new administration is going to help us speed up things to ensure that we drive results. The second question that is from the platform on Say was, when are we going to see piloted flight? And I'll turn that over to Tom.
Thanks, Adam. So as everybody can see from the pictures in our shareholder letter, the Midnight aircraft is now fully assembled, and we've positioned it down at our flight test facility in Salinas. So now we're going through the process of finishing up ground tests to prepare for flight. At this point, I don't know of any specific issues or blockers that would prevent us from flying. We just have to finish the remaining tests, get ready to fly. As I said on the last call, I won't give a specific date that we're going to fly because I don't want to put undue pressure on our team, but first flight should happen really soon. And that being said, I want to remind everybody we've completed hundreds of flights unmanned on the prior Midnight aircraft, which we've been flying for the last year and a half. So at this point, we feel really confident that we understand the flight dynamics of the aircraft and have a lot of confidence in the platform. So as we start flying more aircraft this year, I think we'll have a really efficient path to completing all the testing we need to do in order to support our commercial launch goals this year.
And with that, operator, if you can open the call up for questions.
Of course. We will now begin the question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question, please press star followed by 1 on your telephone keypad. If for any reason you would like to remove that question, please press star followed by 2. Again, to ask a question, press star 1. And as a reminder, if you are using a speakerphone, please remember to pick up your handset before asking a question, and we will pause here briefly as questions are registered. The first question is from the line of Chris Pierce with Needham. You may proceed.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for taking the questions. Adam, just to clarify, did I hear you correctly on tens of millions of revenue and margin positive on these launch edition aircraft?
Hey, Chris. Yes, that's the goal. And so we're not going to release the exact terms of the contract just from a competitive standpoint, but it's a $20 million plus contract on this one, and the goal is for to make these contracts margin positive.
Okay. And then how should we think about, I know you have the order book, but now you've got, launch edition countries that want to go. Should we think of that as moving to the front of the order book, or in defense moving to the front of the order book? I just want to get a sense of sort of how sort of supply constrained you might be, or what the order book looks like now, to the extent that as things are moving around.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the order book, is, I'll say, constrained by a lot of the ability to launch within a specific country. The launch edition program gives us the ability to move ahead of some of the local full certification. So you can imagine there are customers out there, countries out there, airlines out there that want to take delivery of aircraft because there are a lot of operational learnings that they need in order to launch and scale these operations. So they're just trying to figure out how they can get these aircraft. So it gives us the ability to go deliver them aircraft and teach them all the things that they need so they can train pilots, they can add maintenance crews, they can figure out route planning, they can do all the local community engagement. And that could take multiple years. So we started talking to different groups about that, starting with the UAE, and it was very clear that they were very interested in this and willing to take aircraft and pay for that. That is true for dozens of countries. And so there was one of them that you even saw kind of leak out several weeks ago. I was in Davos and I met with the president of Serbia, and there was a press release that came out after that said they're going to be buying aircraft. So you can see that there are lots of countries that are interested in getting aircraft, and so it really helped me understand that this is global and there's demand for this all over the place. But the good news as it relates to the order book is it also allows us to put in place the operations to allow the larger scale orders to be able to come to fruition, because we're not going to deliver somebody 100 aircraft in a year. They'll start with a handful and then you'll go from there. So this is like the precursor to the order book.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the detail. I'll hop back in the queue.
The next question is from the line of Savi Syth with Raymond James. You may proceed.
Hey, good afternoon. I guess just a bit of a follow-up to the prior question on the order book, but more so from a production standpoint. So it sounds like you're planning on producing up to 10 aircraft this year, and I'm guessing you'll know more as you produce this year, but generally, how are you thinking about the ability to scale that then to meet some of these kind of early demands even before you get FAA authorization?
Yeah, so the concept of the launch edition was, okay, how do we deploy and monetize every single aircraft that we can build? And I think we found a pathway to do that. And that's what this is all about. So we're not sitting here kind of negotiating or arguing over what percentage of completion did we do in the quarter. This is about actually deploying aircraft and starting like the real business. So that's what's exciting. We put out kind of high level guidance around manufacturing several quarters ago. The way to think about that is 25 and 26 is building, let's call it tens of aircraft, and kind of the 27 plus is more in the more scaled version of that. So we're learning as we're building these aircraft. The customers are learning as they're taking delivery, and we can scale together.
That's helpful. And then just on the software side that you kind of talked about, Adam, could you provide a little bit more color on that, like where you are in the development and how that might work?
Yeah, the way to think about this is if you go back to our earnings call, starting about, I think, a year ago, I started saying, I think defense is going to be a big deal. I think it's going to be a big deal for the eVTOL industry. And it was a little bit different than what people were understanding because, the reality is a lot of the deliveries that were made to the Agility Prime program were basically seen as, they were good learning lessons, but not useful to be able to launch a full-scale program. And so it was very clear to me that we had to do something that was hybrid with some type of heavy fuels. And so we've been thinking about that part of the process for a long time. The same thing is happening with me now in software. become very clear that software is going to be very important. So we started building out all of our movement control apps, and we started working with a lot of our customers, showing them what we built, and they were blown away. The stuff that we're building is very complex and very, very useful. And so we started thinking about really the full value chain across software, and that starts with the customer experience from a booking perspective into the movement control and operations control, and then ultimately into autonomy. And so I do think software will become a bigger part of what we do. I think it's a new potential line of revenue for us, something that can grow to be something very, very big. And I think it's going to be the key to scaling. I also think you're going to see the broader global aviation industry and sort of system benefit from kind of new age aviation companies building out new software to help make sure we can scale safely across all aviation.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
The next question comes from the line of David Zazula with Barclays. You may proceed.
Hey, thanks for taking my question. Tom, appreciate the color on the development and testing program. Could you give us some more on the plan to get to a conforming aircraft, what the steps you need to get to there are, and what the time frame we could potentially expect would be?
Yeah. Hey, David. So as we talked about on prior calls, from the very beginning of our kind of test program and planning that we've done, we set out a detailed plan for exactly what parts of each of our test aircraft we need to have conforming to support the targeted flight test objectives. So, for example, on this first aircraft that you can see pictures of down in Salinas, there's a set of onboard system components which have been conformed, along with some aerodynamic measurements we made on the aircraft, all to support the testing we plan to do for that aircraft. Subsequent aircraft will have an increased level of conformity, as would be required to support all the tests we plan to do with those aircraft. But the other thought to share is, we're still waiting to close out, kind of final topic or two here with FAA. And until that, to be honest, a lot of what we're doing is at risk for that to close out. And while we don't expect there to be any issues with that, that's where we are right now. As a reminder, this issue that we talked about last time was related to how the whole industry deals with emergency landing for these kinds of aircraft.
Got it. Very helpful. And then, Adam, just as we think strategically, my understanding has always been you've been trying to do everything you can to focus on getting to commercialization as early as possible. With the decision to devote resources towards the DoD initiatives and towards the arrangement to develop the hybrid aircraft, I guess, why did you think this was the right time to devote those resources when you're still kind of in the certification process and trying to work towards commercialization of the original aircraft?
Yeah, the reason it's a good timing for us now is the Midnight aircraft is becoming quite mature. And so, there's a big staff of engineers that are working on the aircraft. And as each individual system and the entire aircraft gets more mature, they effectively start rolling off of that program. The next steps that they can work on are things like performance up or cost down, those type of things. But a big chunk of them ultimately start wrapping up. So it's a great time to start moving them over to a new platform. Now, of course, there will be engineers that stay to work on some of those improvements and to help support some of the certification stuff. But the flight test teams and a lot of those other teams are different people. So we have a lot of just incredible engineers. I think some of the best engineers ever assembled in aviation that are working here. And there's a huge need to do that, to build some of these new products. The other thing is we're creating this flywheel where we are taking new technologies. We can work on our defense aircraft where there does not require FAA certification. We can go learn a lot about these new technologies, get a lot of hours on the aircraft with these new technologies, and then in turn go back and certify them and bring them back to the civil side of the business. So that really works well. And then finally, we've become something more of a strategic national priority for the U.S. as they look at different military applications. And so you can imagine it's very helpful when you have a broader viewpoint where we can help on both the defense side and the civil side as it relates to the administration strategy. So net, I think it's a huge compliment, and I think it'd be a pretty big disadvantage to not be doing this.
That's great color. If I could just squeeze one in for Priya, great news on the cash balance and the equity raises. How should we think about what portion of that is going to be dedicated towards the arrangement with Anduril?
Thanks, David. So, as you saw earlier in the call, we talked about our Q1 range of spending, which you saw probably was in the range of $95 to $110 million. And, that you can see the spending that range is similar to what we provided last quarter. Beyond that, we don't typically give annual guidance, but let me walk you through how we think about what plays out in the coming quarters. So firstly, as Adam mentioned, we're seeing a lot of opportunities to deploy the aircraft that we're building through our revenue-generating opportunity in the Launch Edition program. And so to execute to that, we're growing our team of pilots, maintenance staff, flight test engineers. And to be set up for success, we need to invest in that part of the business. And the goal of that program, as mentioned earlier, is not just to get operational learning, but generate revenue, but also be gross margin positive. So that's how we generally think about that side of the business. But on the defense, very specific to your question, and again, I think Adam already hit upon this, is it's a large revenue opportunity. And to fund this large opportunity, again, we're leveraging our existing resources in engineering, as in how there's, again, Adam mentioned about this, as they're rolling off the Midnight program as we reach design maturity onto the defense program. And depending on the nature of the defense opportunity, we may choose to invest incrementally to be able to capture that very specific opportunity. So lots of puts and takes here. And between revenue generation, execution to the Launch Edition program, the new defense platform, and potential offsets we get from both customer and the defense contracts. So we're still assessing all of that. And so we'll share more when we're able to and we get closer to that point in time. But where we are right now, we're very comfortable with our range for Q1. And we generally stay committed to making any additional investments thoughtfully.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Next question comes from the line of Edison Yu with Deutsche Bank. You may proceed.
Hey, this is Laura for Edison today. So thank you for taking my question. I'd like to dig into the defense opportunity a little bit more. So what are the next steps for the partnership with Anduril?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I didn't quite follow.
So what are the next steps for the partnership with Anduril?
Got it. So what are the next steps? So we're in the process of building the aircraft, and just given the nature of the sensitivity of it, there's not a lot that we can share right now. But what we can say is it's a hybrid VTOL program that we're building, and the goal is to leverage a lot of the core capabilities that we have from the Midnight aircraft program, and to meet some of the sort of existing needs that we see happening. So as more information comes out on that program, we will be sure to share it.
Okay, got you. Also, so what would be like a realistic time frame to win a program record with the DoD? And like how large could such a program be in terms of like dollar value or volume?
So again, I don't have additional color that we're going to be able to share here, but I know there is a very real opportunity with a very real customer about a very real need, and that's what we are working towards. And so as there is more information, we'll be sure to share it.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's helpful. Appreciate it.
The next question is from the line of Austin Moeller with ACHR. You may proceed.
Hi, good afternoon, Adam and Priya. So my first question here, just given the news about the Abu Dhabi contract for the Launch Edition, have you initiated or introduced a standardized fixed price contract value to deploy X number of aircraft and provide training and aftermarket support across all your customers, or do you think it'll vary pretty significantly between customer and country?
Hey, Austin, this is Adam. I think it will vary, but it will all be within a similar type of range point. So you can think about it in the terms of, $10 to $15 million per aircraft is probably like a decent way to just back of the envelope think about it. But it really depends on the goals of the different countries and the partners that we're working with. And so the main high-level goal is to take aircraft and stand up all the necessary ecosystem to launch the broader network. And so that involves the aircraft itself and then the different support systems that go with it. And so we're trying to have that assembled in a way that can be margin positive for Archer, but also very beneficial to the customers themselves. So each one will be a little bit different, depend on their capabilities and the capabilities they need us to bring.
Okay, and just to follow up, since you're already delivering a launch edition aircraft to Abu Dhabi, do you need any additional hardware changes to be made to those planes you're sending customers to get the GCAA to allow passengers on board, or would they allow it in the current configuration you're delivering it in?
Hey, Austin, this is Tom. So the way you should think about this is the first step is going to be delivering an aircraft to the UAE for some experimental flying, where we're going to gather data around operating in that particular environment. So the two things that are different about over there are the higher temperatures in that part of the world, as well as the additional kind of dust and sand considerations. So first part will be doing those tests to ensure the aircraft is safe. We don't anticipate needing to make any changes to address those things, but we need to do the testing first. So right now, there's no region-specific type tailoring that we'd have to do.
And Austin, this is Adam. Another way to think about this is, we have the core framework for what we're building that we're going to certify here, in the U.S. with the FAA. And as Tom said, we think it's actually a very stable platform, and we think we have a good understanding of, how to build out this whole aircraft and certify it. And as the FAA kind of gets all their stuff together and we get through that part of the program, we'll certify that stuff here. We'll certify that program here in the U.S. But we're taking all the same, stuff that we've been building, and we've just found a good pathway in order to be able to launch that same aircraft sooner. So it's really a good way to, for everybody to win here, because it allows us to go early, build hours, and get aircraft deployed, as well as, give the FAA time to do what they need to do.
Great. Thanks for all the details there.
The next question comes from the line of Andres Shepard with Cantor Fitzgerald. You may proceed.
Hey guys, Anand on for Andres. Awesome work this quarter, and thanks for taking our question. I was wondering if you could share with us a little bit more color on your test flight program. I know there was an earlier question on piloted test flights, so I was wondering maybe how do you see your test flights ramping up throughout the year on a larger scale? And maybe do you think commercialization activity in defense or the Middle East could accelerate this flight test program prior to certification?
Yeah, so the big goal that we're working towards right now is first piloted flight. And as I said earlier, we're very close to achieving that milestone. But in parallel, we've got multiple aircraft being built that will enter flight test later this year. As we also mentioned, we're working on building up to 10 airplanes. And so in addition to the ones that are specifically instrumented for test, there are several of these launch edition vehicles that we're looking to get into operation, which of course will give us more and more learnings about the aircraft platform. And the more data we get, the better. So the plan is to really do a lot of flying this year, all taking steps towards the commercial launch.
Gotcha. That's very helpful. And secondly, I was wondering maybe if you could share with us a little bit more about your vision for commercialization in the Middle East. Maybe how do you envision this starting, and in what capacity, especially with this new launch edition release?
Yeah, sure. So again, if you go back to the manufacturing plan that we put out there from a couple quarters ago, where we're starting with call it the tens of aircrafts over the next 2 years, all we've done here is found a way to go and effectively monetize that. And at the same time, put in all of the necessary infrastructure to scale that. So this is like a huge benefit. Literally, like it's a win-win here. And so all we're effectively showing with the launch edition program is that there's a way to go effectively commercialize and monetize stuff we've already talked about.
At the same time, of course, we will, keep plowing through all the FAA work, and we're confident that will get there too. But it's just showing you that we have an ability to do that. So we've talked about UAE as a place to start, and as that has really ramped, we've seen broader interest across many other countries, dozens of other countries that are interested in a similar type of platform. So you'll see these aircraft, get deployed. I think a bit more broadly. It's not just all going to be, into the UAE.
Gotcha. Wonderful. Appreciate the color. I'll pass it on.
The next question comes from the line of Bill Peterson with JP Morgan. You may proceed.
Yeah. Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for taking the questions and all the information that you shared thus far. Wanted to ask about defense in a different way, just in the context of any changes to your Agility Prime contracts as the program is now transitioned apparently to what's called Agility Support Prime. And asking in the context of the announced $142 million opportunity you announced last summer, is that likely to be modified or curtailed in some way given the changes, or how should we think about that? I guess maybe against the context of your maybe newer and exciting opportunity with Anduril.
Hey, Bill, I think the way to think about it is there still are opportunities. I'll call them smaller opportunities. With Agility Prime, where you can take down, call it in the either single-digit millions or the kind of very low, 10 millions types of numbers. But our focus is definitely on the larger side. There's opportunities for, very large R&D dollars that come with big programs or against big programs. And so I think the big shift, has focused from there. The challenge, I think, that took place with Agility Prime was they just concluded that, that eVTOLs alone weren't going to be the right aircraft configuration. And so that's why, again, we pivoted and started working towards a hybrid vehicle with more heavy fuels in order to meet the necessary speed, range, and payload requirements to, basically build an aircraft that can field a program. So hopefully that gives you perspective.
No, yeah, thanks for that. Appreciate it. And then maybe coming to FAA approval, it looks like the total compliance verification documents only kind of went up incrementally quarter on quarter. I suppose this is fairly lumpy, but is this in line with the timing you were expected, or is it slower than expected? And if so, is there, why might that be? I guess asking in the context of maybe, and you can help frame how the FAA's engagement is, or has been, how it's evolved sort of pre and post election and, under the current administration. How is their engagement and your engagement with them?
Yeah, of course. At the working level, things continue to move forward. We have a great relationship with everyone we're working with at the FAA. We're continuing to execute against our cert tests and analyses, continuing to submit data. Like I talked about earlier on the call, this past quarter has been really focused on our safety of flight preparation for this upcoming piloted flight. And so a lot of those tests, in addition to giving us confidence to fly, give us data to submit to the FAA, which is great. But like you mentioned, it is kind of a lumpy process here. And so we're kind of just in that, that phase of submitting data and, FAA making compliance findings. So I would expect over the rest of the year, you'll see the numbers tick up as we get, through more and more tests moving towards certification.
Yeah, thanks for that color. Appreciate it.
The next question comes from the line of Amit Dayal with HC. You may proceed.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So, Adam, with respect to the Anduril partnership, how do you expect this to evolve? Will you potentially be creating a new entity that has its own balance sheet, to pursue opportunities, in that manner? And then, does this take away any resources, that you may need in the near term for Archer?
So no, we will not be creating a new entity. The good news is that we have the setup and facilities to be able to accommodate this program. And as I mentioned before, as the Midnight program matures and lots of the engineers start to roll off that program, there's an ability to be able to use not just the engineers, but also a lot of the different processes, facilities, toolings, equipment that we have to build that program. It does not take away from anything from Archer either. So we're fully equipped from the Midnight program. we're fully equipped to be able to handle that as well. So I think the setup is actually quite favorable. The other thing that it does is, the prominence that it gives us with the broader administration as helping to fulfill some of their goals, I think really will help reinforce and become this nice cycle that we're an important company that will get a lot of attention from the regulators. I also think that the attention that you're seeing in the UAE is going to also help reinforce the attention that we'll see back here in the U.S. as these are American companies that were built with American technology, and so we're trying to make sure that they can be launched here in America too.
So the ADA partnership, right? Are the ADA folks going to be running the operations, or is Archer going to be involved in that? Just trying to see if there is any revenue opportunity for Archer from those operations, or are you just limited to, the sales of these aircrafts and then maybe servicing and maintenance part of it?
Yeah, so the nature of the agreements and kind of all the launch edition agreements are all about standing up the networks in each of the individual countries. And so the goal is really about learning and putting everything in place to be able to scale an actual network. So we're paid more of like a fixed price that's on that. So we're not going to be paid for, let's say, like flying individual trips. That's not really the goal. That goal is to be able to launch and deploy a lot of aircraft over a period of time. So you can imagine, just kind of extrapolate. Imagine there are 20 countries that have this type of thing in place, and each one has a handful of aircraft, 2 to 5 aircraft, and then each one of those countries ultimately order and take delivery of a fleet of aircraft. And so you can really start to see how this can scale to a very large level by putting this in place. So we're doing a lot of the groundwork now with them. We're just getting paid for doing it, and then over time it will scale. But this does focus us heavily on the OEM side, the sales side of the business.
Yeah, that's good to see. This last one from me. Are you seeing, infrastructure investments in vertiports or, the rest of the infrastructure that's required, in terms of operational needs for you guys also starting to come up, or investors lining up to put those types of infrastructure investments in place before you start scaling up, sales of these aircrafts?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for example, in the UAE, we have plans to launch a five-node vertiport network in Abu Dhabi, and all of these will be leveraging existing infrastructure locations, which will just allow us to move really quickly and allow the country to minimize spend. And so the GCAA estimates that I think it's like over 1,000 helicopter landing sites across the UAE, most of which are in Abu Dhabi, which is, I believe, about 87% of the overall landmass of the country. And then our partner, Abu Dhabi Aviation, is the UAE's largest helicopter operator, and they already safely carry passengers to and from many of these locations today. So you're seeing a lot of the existing infrastructure that gets put together. And then we have other partners like Falcon Aviation, which are converting some of their key locations in Marina Mall and Abu Dhabi Cruise Terminal to help really kind of stand up this network for us. So that's a good example of a country that's moving to really help make sure that we can load this up. But again, that's what the Launch Edition program is all about. And so it's where these groups go and really start to spend money and put money into the ground to get us ready to unlock larger fleets.
Thank you. That's all I have. Great to see you guys moving so fast. Appreciate all the color. Thank you.
The last question is from the line of Josh Sullivan with the Benchmark Company. You may proceed.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, Josh.
The thought process around exploring heavy fuels hybrid for defense applications, is there any thought that the hybrid system you're envisioning here with Anduril could have commercial passenger applications at some point? And I imagine the range, payload capabilities of a hybrid might complement an eVTOL offering or even help develop certain passenger markets as batteries improve.
Yeah, absolutely. So the intent is actually to have the aircraft have dual use. And so both on the civilian side, which I think is what makes it an even larger potential opportunity. So the hybrid application just allows us to get better performance, think like, much further range. And so it allows us to basically increase the different types of use cases that we have. So yes, there definitely is an application for that.
Okay, got it. And then just as far as the new administration, where have you experienced tangible support for accelerating the industry or Archer specifically?
So the Secretary of Transportation has been very supportive and is working with us closely to try to figure out how to continue to advance, advance the certification process and just the broader support for the category. I think you've also seen it on the defense side. I mean, literally, between President Trump and Elon, tweeting about, the, defense, department needing more, they call autonomous and attritable solutions. We fit directly into, those types of comments. And so I think we are, in the path of progress, which is very helpful. And at the same time, there's, actual work on the ground that's being done now. So, you'll see more to come here, I think, in the following quarters. But I actually think what's going to happen is you'll see the FAA certification process really start to accelerate, especially as we start to deliver aircraft internationally, because I know that the administration does want, these American products that are built with American technology to be launched here in America.
Got it. And then just one last one. Are you seeing any early indication of financial buyers becoming interested in, a leasing market for eVTOLs at some point, or where are those conversations at this point?
We have been inundated since the very early days of those types of conversations. We have really, really tried to focus on more of countries and operators that can do, fleet type purchases. But a lot of those conversations continue. I think you'll see more of that stuff over time. But again, the Launch Edition program gives us an ability to really start to deploy aircraft with some of these operators and countries that have, very deep pockets that can deploy very large fleets. So, I think more on that to come.
Thank you for the time.
That was our last question for the day. I would now like to pass the conference back over to Adam for any closing comments.
All right. Well, thank you for joining the call today. I am very proud of what the team has accomplished, but this is just the beginning. 2025 is going to be a huge year. Thank you.
That concludes the Archer Aviation fourth quarter 2024 financial results conference call. Thank you for your participation and have a great day.
Wow. What a reaction. Tell me in the comments, in the chat, what you think of it, whether you are positive, whether you see this earnings report as positive or negative. Me personally, I see it positive. I was not short-term bullish on the Anduril partnership at all. I was expecting a bit of more guidance, but I wasn't hinged on it. So that's something that didn't surprise me. When they started talking about the Anduril, the price started recovering slightly. So if you want to have a look, we sort of gained 10% return-ish. I'm very interested how the price is going to develop tomorrow, whether we are going lower or whether we will recover. I'm very happy with they are on the track, started generating revenue. We have been manufacturing vehicles already. There are no issues reported in the ARC facility. I still see further down the line this year there will be one more dilution, same as Joby, but mainly on Archer, because they will need to accelerate their production. If they get certification in the Emirates, if they get closer to the certification by the FAA, they will now end up with empty hands. So I think they will need to push on the production side, and that will be obviously conditioned by money. And I think there will be one of the institutional investors, I think namely Stellantis, might grab a bigger share or another piece of the company, another share, another chunk against the equity. Other than that, I think long term, I'm happy. I'm happy. It's getting cheaper now for me to buy in. If we get more cool off through the course of time, through next 2-3 months, might be buying for $5.50, $5. More than happy with that price. I will let this digest. I will do some more research. I will try to connect the dots. I'll come back to you definitely. I will do next week a bit of. I'm showing you wrong screen. Sorry. I'll do a bit of research and I'll try to connect the dots. Just. I was very curious. From what I expected to be in this earnings call, we got most of it. We got the production update. ACHR production facility is open, ready for business. Financial statement, very strong statement. Anduril industrial partnership. Couldn't get any more indication or any more news, obviously for reasons, for safety and security reasons. UAE operations, quite firm statement. I wouldn't say strong, but firm statement. We are on the track. Certification progress. We got a bit of lay down, Q&A all over Anduril and the new platform which was mentioned. And then out of the positives, we got clear production update. Again, ARC is open, ready for business. And we got actually indication on how many vehicles we can deliver or we will be delivering by the end of the year. And also we got indication on the revenue coming back for this. So that's something good. Again, we didn't get much update on the Anduril revenue. Institutional backup. I was expecting some stronger statements, but that's maybe something that will develop for the next earnings call. Civil sector positive indication. Yeah, we will be delivering and we will start operations probably end of 2025 or early 2026. This is very valuable for the company as well, because the more vehicles you expose to operations and various environments and various utilization, the more feedback and the more data you get back. Not very clear roadmap on the final certification, but they are going a bit different way than Joby. They are focusing on production and then certification. Joby is more focusing on certification and then production. Archer Defense, again, lack of strong statements, unclear footpath. This is something that we will get update on later through the year, possibly. And unfortunately, we are looking into the new platform development. No negative info on the balance sheet or cash situation, which is very good. No delays on the production side and no setbacks on the civil sector. So in general, I'm fairly happy. Although the reaction was what it was, I'm fairly happy, and I'm looking for a good price to start buying in. Long term, amazing opportunity for me. It's not a financial advice, but I think those who are in Archer, you can already figure out how good this is. I think that's it. Thank you very much for joining. We had good audience through the call. I'm very happy. I'm well chuffed. We got a lot of likes as well. Thank you everyone for staying with me. And that's it. I will see you tomorrow. Please do join. Remind everyone. If somebody is still watching, please do join the Jerry and Elba event. I will pop it in the chat again. Just quickly. Jerry and Elba event Friday night. Send the link. So I will see you tomorrow, and then you will see some laydowns on both Archer and Joby from me next week. That's it. Thank you very much again. Take care of yourselves and each other.